SBC exposed decades of concealed abuse and cover-ups, stonewalling, and threats, leading to public apologies and a push for reform. I remember seeing at least 800 victims and over 600 Baptist preachers or people in positions of authority on a list. You can Google it. Changes in leadership. Some Baptist leaders are beginning to speak out and take action, including apologizing to victims and changing institutional policies to hold abusers accountable. Shifting perspectives. Organizations like Texas Baptist are now explicitly stating that reporting abuse is not only acceptable, but is a biblically sound practice. I believe in all states it's mandatory by law. So anyone who isn't reporting is a criminal, which should not be around children, let alone women in general. So why do these patriarchal institutions of power allow these things to happen? The same reason why the Pharisees in the Old and New Testament hated Jesus. Reporting abuse is a threat to their power. It's a threat to their influence. It's a threat to the image of whatever group they're in charge of. It threatens the status quo. It threatens the gender roles. And it threatens the gospel and the good that they do. And I'm not denying that religion can do good things. I don't believe it's genuine hope. I don't believe religion offers factual hope. I think it's just more of a codependent. It's good for them because it helps them sleep and live their lives. Is it factual? Does it actually make people a better person? That's really up to every individual. But when there's misconduct in over 187 independent fundamentalist Baptist churches within the SBC hierarchy, you have a problem. And the United Methodists, they're second for the worst Protestant statistics for abuse for any age and gender. It's because the more conservative you are, the less you're likely to inform the authorities when people are threatening other people. Because religion that's run by white cis heterosexual men is always a ripe garden for abuse. This is why churches that are 100% ruled by white men, like Jehovah's Witness, Mormons, Baptists, Calvinistic churches, fundamentalist churches, why there's so much abuse. Because the women don't get an equal access to power. They're less than, and they shouldn't be less than. How does this affect men? Well, if you're a decent man who doesn't have an inkling to harm children and women, it's hard to grow up in an environment and survive in an environment where you see these kind of things happening. And if you don't, you're not aware of how dangerous it is to be a woman in any form of religion. Being a woman in a patriarchal institution, you are flipping a coin if you're going to be hurt. I would guess about 1 out of 3 people who are not men are somehow abused, either spiritually, physically, emotionally, verbally. In any form. 1 out of 3. And men, if you're not in the hierarchy, it's the same thing as a patriarchy. You don't have power. You might as well be a woman because you're not thought of as high respect as somebody who's in a position of authority. And the CSA and SA in Baptist churches is so out of control. They can't hide it anymore. Even if they don't report it, either to the newspaper or to the police, we know what's going on. You can't have that many white cis men in charge without something exploding somewhere, metaphorically speaking. And it's not going to change until we stop until we stop only allowing white cis men to be in charge.